Hey there, beloved. Have you ever noticed that a newborn never looked in the mirror and thought, I'm not enough? And a 3-year-old doesn't wake up saying, I'm broken. Today, we're going to talk about why shame isn't your identity and that it's the simple language that you became fluent in. Right here on A Spiritual Remedy.
It's a spiritual remedy, a deep internal peace from the bondage of the self. I have found my sweet release. It affirms the life I'm living. It's the truth within my soul.
Welcome to A Spiritual Remedy, beloveds. My name is Sunshine Daye, and here we explore practical spirituality for people in recovery and anybody longing to experience more peace, purpose, and freedom. Last week, we discovered that not every voice deserves our belief. This week, we're asking a deeper question. Where did that voice learn to speak? Now, have you ever noticed that shame has impeccable timing? Like you can be having a wonderful day, somebody compliments you, you smile, and then that inner critic whispers, they're just being nice. Really? That critic should win an Olympic medal for mental gymnastics. I mean, if there were a gold medal for taking ourselves out of good news, some of us would be standing on that podium. Thankfully, we don't have to keep competing in that event. Here's my story. As an active addict and alcoholic, life revolved around getting loaded. I hurt people, I broke promises, I let people down. And when I finally got sober, I absolutely felt guilt about the things that I had done, but I didn't realize how much shame I was carrying. Then I relapsed again and again. And each relapse didn't just increase my guilt, it deepened my shame. And eventually, I wasn't simply thinking I made a mistake. I believed I am a mistake. I believed I was bad, broken, and unfixable and not good enough. I was alone, and I honestly wondered, what's the use? Then a dear friend invited me to a spiritual community. She simply said, this community has enhanced my sobriety. So I went. And what I found there changed my life. For the first time, I encountered teachings that didn't ask me to become worthy. They reminded me that an all-loving presence already living within me had never considered me unworthy. Wow, that was amazing. I began practicing meditation, prayer, contemplation, mirror work, self-compassion, grace, and slowly I stopped identifying myself with my past and started identifying myself with my true nature. I could honestly say I made mistakes, but not I am a mistake. This single shift opened the door to a completely different life. So here's the difference between guilt and shame. I learned that there is a profound difference between the two. Guilt says I did something that doesn't align with who I want to be. I did something that I can make amends for. Guilt can teach me and I can be invited to make amends. It can help me grow. With shame, it says something entirely different. Shame whispers, I'm bad, I'm broken, I'll never change. And shame does something else. It isolates us. It tells us we're the only one, the only person who failed, the only person who relapsed, the only person who doesn't belong. But spirit always moves in the opposite direction. Spirit calls us into connection, into community, into compassion, into remembering who we really are. One of the greatest gifts of my spiritual teachings was a new understanding of spirit, of God, of higher power, not some power out there somewhere else, but an indwelling presence that even Bill Wilson speaks about when he says deep down within every person is the fundamental idea of God. There is an infinite intelligence already expressing itself as my very life. And if that's true, then my deepest identity could never be broken. My thinking could become confused. My choices could miss the mark. My conditioning could be painful, but my essential nature remained whole. And as I continued studying and learning and living these principles, something remarkable happened. I began assimilating a new way of thinking, a new way of seeing myself. Instead of rehearsing the old stories, I began practicing spiritual truths. And little by little, the belief that I was broken simply faded into the nothingness from which it came, because the indwelling presence has never called me broken. So today, I want to offer you something simple and something beautiful. The next time shame begins speaking, pause and stay curious. Become curious and ask yourself, is this guilt inviting me to grow? Or is this shame trying to convince me that I am the problem? And then ask, where did I learn this? Who taught me this? Is this true? Is this actually true? How do I know that this is true? And finally, what does the indwelling presence know about me that shame could never know? That question right there changes lives, because shame remembers history, but infinite intelligence, spirit, knows my identity. Recovery taught me to keep coming back. Spirituality, well, that taught me that there was never anything wrong with my essential nature. It taught me that there were beliefs that I could begin to release, habits that I could transform, and that there were revealings that I could embrace. But underneath it all, spirit never left me. If today's message spoke to you, subscribe. Share this episode with someone who might still be carrying shame. And visit us at Vida Spiritual Learning Center, vidaslc.org, for more resources, meditations, and community. Until the next time, the indwelling presence has never called you broken.
Found a spiritual remedy and the joy is real. Just surrender to the power, let it live as you. Everything you wanted finally coming true.